Welcome to Soul-Led Creative Women, the podcast for heart-centered creative women who are ready to reclaim their spark and live with deeper meaning, authenticity, and soul. So today I have Ovi Paulter with me. Ovi is a floral oil painter, teacher, and nonprofit founder, helping women reconnect with peace, identity, and beauty through slow, soulful creativity. She began painting during a season of deep burnout, not to become an artist, but just to breathe again. Now she teaches others to create without pressure, using non-toxic materials and a gentle step-by-step approach. Her message isn't about performance, it's about creating softness and belonging in a world that asks too much. So welcome, Ovi.
Thank you so much, Sam. Thank you for having me. I'm so honored to be on your podcast. Thank you.
So today we're going to be talking about all things art, creativity, and healing. We actually have some very similar language coming through in our work, and I'm really intrigued to hear about your story and your experiences. So why don't we just start with your journey? Tell us about how you got started with art and why art and creativity have become so important to you.
I don't even know where to begin, but I'll try to. So when I was 16, everything collided or fell apart, I should say. My parents divorced. The same year, I was a victim of a violent crime, if you can imagine, against me as a woman. And also, I grew up in a childhood where my dad did not love me because he himself did not know how he grew up. And so, you know, after after that crucial year, something has broken inside of me, and and nobody seemed to care how I'm doing, and so I also stopped asking, and I was just working, performing, going on with my life. I met my husband, who is an American, and he's one of the strongest relationships that I have in my life. So my grandparents and my husband, I would say, are three strongest relationships, saving graces in my life. But so for the longest time, I was doing everything right, what I'm supposed to be doing to heal: therapy, medicine, and it just wasn't helping to the full extent that it could, I guess. And then we had 7 years of infertility. And then my daughter was born 2 years after my twin boys were born. And that was a crazy, crazy time. And so imagine that 16-year-old like a sleeping beauty. She's still sleeping, and just a part of her is functioning in the world. And she's doing everything right, but she breaks. She goes to the hospital because she broke. She comes back from the hospital and she continues to do the things she knows what to do: therapy, medicine. And then something happened. Just a wise person told me, you should seek a creative outlet.
Mhm.
I'm just a local community school brochure and quickly looked through it, and that was oil painting class for all levels. So for 2 years, I was learning traditional oil painting methods, and slowly, slowly, somehow, I think my part that was underneath the survival started talking to my now grown up part. Slowly, somehow, they started coming together. And then COVID hit, the whole world shut down. And I found some teacher online who actually taught how to paint alla prima in one sitting. And I gravitated towards floral because of my strong relationship with my grandma and my summer spent with her.
Mhm.
And just, and only art was able to touch something, to bring back that
Mhm.
16 girl, to bring her up to speed to the world, and started healing me slowly.
And it really
What
became a lifeline for you, didn't it, Ovi? I've seen that you've written about it becoming a real lifeline.
That's exactly it. It became a lifeline. Another way I could say it, it became like little, the straw that I would stick into the dark parts of me, stir something up, and it would come up on the canvas. And it was very emotional, but through the flowers somehow, and eventually I'm here now and I'm able to talk about all these things.
Yeah.
but Lifeline is a very correct way to call it. Yes.
Yeah. And so when you first started out, would have taken you a little bit of time to realize what was happening in terms of this deep healing power that the art making was helping you with. So, tell us a little bit about that journey in terms of, you started off just sort of learning to paint, but then when did you really realize that, hey, this is actually, this is really helping me? When did you realize that?
I realized that, I would say, during COVID, when I
Mhm.
discovered the same painting for 8 weeks, and just the landscape was killing me slowly. I had a very good teacher, but as a person with ADD, I was getting bored of the same subject really fast.
Mhm.
So when I found another teacher, as well generous and wonderful teacher, who taught me how to paint in one sitting and finish the painting
Sure.
during the that's when magic started happening. That's when,
Okay.
in my passion, I understood that every time I painted, I would paint it at night after everybody fell asleep. Kids, after prayers, we put them to bed. And I came here, lay in my paints and paint in the kitchen. That's when I realized that it's something is happening, something more than just paint.
So it's almost like you kind of found your thing, you found your groove with it, right? And as you started to really lean into your unique way of painting and art making that really lit you up, that's when you kind of had that realization. Would you agree with that? Yeah.
It moved back, and absolutely, Sam. And it was like a bridge,
Yeah.
I don't a bridge and strong, whatever you want to call it. So that part of me that was dormant for so long, that I couldn't access for so long.
Mhm.
And through healing and, wearing up the topic, I did all the things I thought the artist should do. Now that I found it, I was so happy. Oh, we should
Yeah.
sell all these. Oh, we should
Yeah.
market crazy.
It's a
I did
trap.
all
It's a trap.
that. And, it just put me down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And
I've been down that rabbit hole too.
so, so you get me. And then eventually, a couple months ago, I had the sleepless nights. It was a gradual project, like peeling onion skins. I realized I'm tired of live Instagram sales. I cannot do that. It's not my heart. It's not where my heart is. With dance, I realized, and just somehow overnight, and said, you know what? Let me try teaching.
Yeah, okay.
For another important step
Yeah.
in my story. And both of my grandparents were teachers. In I met in the village. My grandma was elementary school teacher.
Mhm.
In Lithuania, my grandpa was math teacher. And then, like almost a day or two after, I decided that I would try to teach art.
Mhm.
And so two cardinals, a male and female. I was just taking out few recycles into the backyard. Then I saw them on the branch, and I took it as affirmation
Okay.
from like an angel visiting me, and I took
Yeah.
it as a very sign.
You had that deep aha moment.
Yes, yes,
Mm. That's
and
beautiful.
yes. So, and then I talked to this one gift shop where I had my paintings, if I could do a class there. And I did a 4-week class, and it was not for profit. And that's when the reviews were amazing. They said I'm a patient teacher. I don't know where that patience comes from, and it's flowing. It was flow. It was like it's like I was on fire. And then
Mm.
that's when I realized, and that somehow another sleepless night, and everything came together. That that's what I want to do. That I want to give back.
Yeah, great. So, I mean, there are so many excuses that prevent women from embracing their creativity, even if they've got this kind of gentle whisper, inside about creating. What would you say to women who struggle to prioritize and lean into their creativity, when it's bubbling away in their heart like that?
Well, I heard all the excuses you can
Yeah,
imagine.
I know.
Um, One mom of 4 boys, she said, I just don't have time. I just
Yeah.
don't have time at all. And she's also a dog mama. And I would say to that, the best. advice I think I could give is just to begin gently. Give look, first of all, a woman has to give herself permission because there's so much guilt with us women that we're going to take away time from our families.
Mhm.
So I would just say set perhaps half an hour to an hour on the calendar. Maybe if you are a stay-at-home mom when your children are at school, or maybe like I did at night, and I can just at this point say, please believe me that if you don't believe me, then believe Drexel University study that says that 5 minutes of mental art making lower cortisol levels dramatically. So I would say put it on the calendar and honor it
Mm,
as an important appointment
mm,
and actually sit down and do it. No matter, it doesn't matter what it is, even if it's the coloring book that you bought
yeah,
in a in a bookstore, even if it's a coloring book and you just bought like little colorful pencils,
yes.
mandalas to color mandalas, or even if it's, or open the door gently because we don't remember those parts of ourselves, even if it's buying a bouquet of flowers in a grocery store and arranging bouquet of flowers,
Mm,
you know,
mm,
or even tapping a picture on your walk with the kids,
mm,
something you might want to look at it later and enjoy. Just I would say opening the door gently, letting it open gently, and then perhaps you will, especially if you honor your appointment.
yeah,
And just to begin, that's the most important part, beginning it.
yeah.
That's what
Be-
I think.
because it can feel counterintuitive, can't it, when you're so busy and you've got so many things on the to-do list, and then taking that time for yourself to create something just for the sake of it, it can feel quite counterintuitive. But when you realize that it's actually going to help, regulate your nervous system and, help you to process your emotions and stuff, you can kind of it takes on a different value, doesn't it?
Yes, the only thing I can say, I'm the living proof
Yeah,
that that's the case. I admit only art reached the parts of me, those, and you don't have to be a survivor of trauma.
yeah,
You could have lived under being the strong one for 10 years or being the one who's doing everything or
yeah.
exhausted to the point where you don't even know which day or which month or what hour it is.
Because
You
they're all
know,
the same.
yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
I,
you used the word gentle creativity before. So can you tell us a bit about what that term is, what that means to you?
yes, I can tell you what that means to me. So I don't want my floral sessions, as I call them, floral sessions, to be one more thing to do. I
Yeah.
want it to be an invitation. So gentle creativity to me means no expectations, no pressure to produce a beautiful painting. It means uh, removing all obstacles to entry, which is that's why I'm doing it for free. It's just an invitation to come as you are. I
Mhm.
provide the raw materials and they're all non-toxic materials. And gentle means no rush with very supportive guidance,
Mhm.
step by step, so that you don't
So did you say all your classes are free?
my monthly
Or you have
class.
a month? Okay. So an invitation for a free class. Yeah, okay.
So I have a online class
Mhm.
that online class that's the foundations. That one I recorded and I have a fee for it.
Yeah, sure.
But my
But
monthly class
yeah,
and month club that I'm going to start in the online one
yeah.
is going to be on YouTube and it's going to be for free.
Yeah, okay.
So monthly offerings are free.
Yeah, that's
Always.
cool. That's really cool. That's really beautiful. I think, that there is such a power in slowing down and leaning into this really gentle, soft, feminine side of ourselves, which, you know, is very important. And we're sort of taught to prioritize all this very masculine doing, productive, efficient energy. So this idea of gentle creativity really is a flag, waving a flag to say, I'm important too. There's the feminine beauty of creativity is so powerful. So that's wonderful.
Yeah, so I thought that's the only way
Yeah.
because I totally heard it all. People reached out to me and said, I really would like to take your class, or even when I was inviting people to come, to in-person class, there it's endless. Not only time, you have to make sure that you have coverage for your kids.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that all the stars align, and you cannot completely take someone who is not ready yet and just transport them to the classroom. You cannot do that. There has
Yeah.
to be a little swing in the person. There
Yes.
has to be something there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, that opening the door gently, maybe, or just buying flowers
Mm.
from the grocery store, from the florist, just buying flowers and putting them on your table can put you in touch with your senses,
Yeah.
you know. So I truly try to make it's also sip and paint in a way,
Yeah. Sure.
but just unusual because it's with oils. That's my medium of choice.
Yeah. Okay.
I have the right taste boxes for people to bring their paintings home,
Yes.
you know.
Sure.
But they're not acrylics, they don't dry right
No.
away.
No. So you said that you use non-toxic materials in your art. So tell us a bit about why that's important to you.
Okay, so when I decided that I would like to do teaching, like to try out how would I be as a teacher, the gift shop owner challenged me. She said, I don't want toxic materials in my shop.
Okay.
If you would like to teach. And so I researched all the brands that are available here in USA on the market. There are a few. And I found one line in particular that I really enjoyed. I ordered a set for myself to create trial lessons, to create paintings that we are going to be painting step by step. And I really liked it. But I had this inner dissonance. How can I, in my own practice, use toxic materials and
Yeah.
then teach different? It just grew louder and louder. And I
Okay.
couldn't put dissonance at all.
Okay.
And but what I was taught to have some people just take pure, mineral spirits or turpentine, just pour it down the drain. It's terrible. Or even if you take
Yeah.
your cadmium material brush and just put it down in the sink,
Yeah.
not properly dispose of that. It just felt good. It just felt right. It felt like honoring my grandma's legacy because she was in green thumb on steroids. She loved all the plants. She loved all the earth. She was just So when I decided to go toxic free cold turkey,
Yeah.
uh, that was a learning curve, but that's how I ended up using not toxic oils.
Yeah. Okay. That's beautiful. So why do you think then that art and creativity are so healing and so powerful, to create this sort of inner connection for women?
So I can only speak from personal experience
Yeah.
and from what I've seen.
Yeah.
Um, you know, from the moment you walk through the door, that rushed expression on your face, oh, I got here, I beat the traffic finally, and you sit down. Then from the moment when we leave through the door with their finished painting, it's a changed facial expression,
Okay.
more relaxed. So I cannot explain all the inner workings of the nervous system, even though I took a little course on polyvagal theory. But just from my experience, I think it does something to us that we do not even understand.
Mm.
It's bigger than us.
Yeah.
I can explain it, but my personal experience is that if I'm having a bad day and I feel the need to paint or I have an urge to paint when the kids fall asleep and I come to my kitchen table to paint because I don't have a, big proper studio. When I create, I'm in the moment.
Yeah.
When that brush goes on the canvas, I don't think about the past. I don't think about the future. I don't worry what tomorrow's dinner has to look like.
Yeah.
I'm just in the moment. And I think that's where the power is. That
Mm.
when you're in the moment, when they teach you therapists how they teach you to stay in the moment when you feel anxious.
Sure.
Detect, the sense of smell something. What are you smelling now? What are you touching now?
Yep.
What do you hear now? So something like that is happening.
Yeah. Like a spiritual connection.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. To something much bigger than ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
beautiful. Love that. And so, with that in mind then, do you believe that it grows? Is creativity the key to unlocking more of what we want in our lives? More fulfillment, more connection, more joy? Tell us a bit about your thoughts around that.
I think it's a huge part of it.
Mhm.
It's not the only way. There are many ways you can do that. What's funny is that when you ask this question, what comes to my mind is how many doctors I know who are artists too, and
Yeah.
they're very talented, like a dentist, be it a dentist or be it a teacher, someone who uses their brain for precise science in their daily work, how creativity actually helps them live a fuller life.
Yeah.
So I think creativity can be
Yeah.
and can create to more. So connecting your broken parts to putting it all back together, how it was for me.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't think creativity alone, in some cases, like in my case, I also needed medicine and
Sure.
therapy.
Yeah.
So, but it's a huge, huge part of
Yes.
the problem.
Yes. And I think that, I guess where I was going with that question was, when we're denying our creativity because of the endless list of things that we've got to achieve and do and be and all of that sort of stuff, when we're denying it, then it is the key. Because, like you said, in order to have a full life, whether all the medicine and all the therapy and all of the achievements and successes and, status, things, if we're denying our creativity, then there's still a gap, there's still a hole there. Would you agree with that?
I agree with you wholeheartedly,
Yeah.
Sam.
Yeah.
And I don't know when, but like here's one I come up now.
Oh, bless you.
Right. I think you're so right that denied creativity finds some way to tell you about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could be in an unhealthy way. It could manifest in anxiety even.
Yeah.
It is for me, for example, if I skip an evening of painting when I truly was called to sit down to the easel and canvas that night, the next day I'm not having a great day at all.
Sure.
It's just anxious thoughts, and
Yeah.
so creativity can also be, you need patience
Yeah.
and you need to listen to yourself.
Yeah.
So if you work with your creativity, your life is gonna be much better for sure.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, when we've tried everything else, when we've done all the right things and there's still something missing, it's something that really needs to be looked at because it's so powerful, like we've been talking about. So, yeah, really special. So, for all the women out there that are curious about using art to heal from, burnout or anything in their lives and to create more softness in everyday life, what powerful message or question would you like to leave them with today?
I would encourage them to make that appointment on their calendar. 15 minutes.
Mm,
15 minutes, I know I asked. 15 minutes. And just whatever even remotely excites you, be it pencils, be it watercolor,
mhm.
even be it knitting, anything with our hands.
Yeah.
That's something with our hands. Even if whatever excites you remotely, I would say make that appointment, or just for fun, go and try out the class
Mhm.
for fun. I'm sure that once per season, once per spring or once per summer, you could go and try out the class. Maybe making clay things excites you.
Mm.
Maybe working with wood excites you.
There's so
Something,
much, isn't there?
yes. So if whatever remotely sparks something in you,
Mm.
or if you have even a little bit of curiosity, maybe that's the direction you should try.
Hmm.
And there's an abundance usually of classes online even. But, if it requires additional materials, you can definitely try for fun, something for fun.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that luxury, then I would say 15 minutes that you put on your calendar and maybe just coloring something.
Mm.
You're writing something in your diary, even if it's a creative writing,
Mm.
that also can be a powerful healing tool to access your creativity.
Yeah,
Just
I combine both the writing and the art, so I'm a big advocate for that. I think they're beautiful together. Yeah.
yes. It's actually interesting. I usually do tell a story of every painting I make, but I have a second solo exhibition coming up in September. And for that one, I did 20 paintings, and each painting was based on a specific memory of my grandparents.
Okay.
They, pitting cherries with them for the jam, or going mushroom foraging, or just, you know, gathering apples, or just sitting and waiting for a plum to fall. Like my grandma said, I was just sitting by the tree waiting for the plum to fall.
Okay.
So, and I wrote the story with every painting. I'm not,
Beautiful.
so I'm just doing a companion book,
Mm.
a companion book to the exhibition.
Yeah.
And that was a work of love. And that was so healing. That
Yeah.
was so
Yeah. What I find often is when you've got the writing and the art next to each other, they both take on deeper meaning. Do you know what I mean? Like you're able to really kind of go a bit deeper and explore it a lot more. So it's so powerful combining the words with the visual. Yeah. So I can completely relate to that experience. So how can people get to know you better, Ovi, and get a real feel for the work that you're doing?
My main hub is my Instagram page.
Mhm.
And my handle is Ovi Paulter Art, OVI, as in Paul, AULTR Art, or I'm sure they can find it in the show notes.
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
that's that's where I have all my information and my paintings and some of my thoughts on video
Yeah.
about creativity. So,
Excellent. Thank you so much for coming and chatting with me today, Ovi. I really loved our conversation. Thank you so much.
Sam, thank you. You made me think about things, especially about you encouraged me to explore writing and art together.
Yeah, okay.
I hope that this podcast is not the last time we meet, and
Yes, of
that
course.
yeah,
I'm
we
sure we'll
will.
see each other online again soon. That's the
Thank you
space,
so
isn't
much.
it? Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, Sam here. Thanks so much for listening to the end. If you'd like to keep the conversation going, I would absolutely love to hear from you. Join my free soul-led creative community and gain access to free guides and resources, plus exclusive events and workshops, all from within the members area. This is your chance to connect with me and other like-minded souls. Please head to samhorton.co/community. Take care.